Hello students, welcome back. Now we have already discussed and we know what is big data exactly. So now the question is what to do with big data. We have a huge amount of data, we have big data, but we don't know what is hidden inside the big data until unless we are not going to explore it, we are not going to process it. So big data is dumb if we don't have an algorithm to make use of it. So how will you process it? How will you explore it? Obviously that requires certain algorithms. So without certain algorithms, we are unable to explore the data. So it is the algorithm that transforms the data into valuable and precise information. So we have data and now we have to apply analytics, we have to apply some algorithms, some techniques, some processing on big data, and that is performed by some algorithms. So our algorithms must be suitable for big data, right? The traditional, for example, suppose we have extremely very large size of array, right? Means we can say that the array of size 1 million and you have to sort it. So obviously the techniques for sorting is similar. You can apply any sorting algorithms, but that is not efficient. That may take 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 1 week or month. Or it may be possible that your system has been crashed, your system is not able to handle that size of array. So we need algorithms that is suitable for big data. Now the question is how to process, analyze and mine big data. How to mine intelligence from such large scale data. The typical data analytics tool cannot support large scale data. It is not the case that we don't have data analytical tools, we don't have certain algorithms, but that does not support big data. And traditional storage system do not have analytical power, and traditional data analysis tools are unable to handle big data. So there are two things. We have a storage system that is able to accommodate, store any extent of data, any size of data, any kind of big data. But storage system cannot analyze, cannot process big data. And the traditional data analysis tool like sequential algorithms that we have, they have the power to analyze the data, but they fail in case of big data. They are not able to handle big data. So for this problem, we need a different distributed tools and techniques to analyze such large scale data. Why we need distributed tools and techniques? Obviously, for example, I have given you the example of array size of millions, billions. So when that array is not possible to sort on a single machine with the sequential algorithms, what is the solution? Distribute, partition that large array into the multiple sub-array and make local sorting, right? And then combine the result back. So that phenomena is called distributed computing, and that requires more than one computers, more than one CPU. So for handling big data, we obviously need distributed tools and techniques to analyze big data, right? Now we already have distributed system. It is not the case that we don't have any distributed system. We already have parallel and distributed computing system. But again, that distributed system is not suitable for big data. Why? Let's see. The traditional distributed system have some legacy overheads and limitation with them, like managing distributed system, fault intolerance, lack of high level parallel programming language, huge dependency on network. So one well known or popular framework for scientific distributed computing is message passing interface, MPI. It is a kind of you can say it a language or a library for distributed processing. So in most of the scientific distributed computing, people use MPI, message passing interface. So how MPI, message passing interface, distributed computing framework is not suitable for big data? So managing, so these are the general overhead limitations, and now we are explaining all these general overheads with a particular distributed system, message passing interface. So managing distributed system, computation partitioning. So again the same example, when you have a very large size of array, and if you want to make it sorted in a distributed way, then you have to partition it. So when we do a distributed programming or parallel programming with MPI, then we have to partition the computation. It is the responsibility, it is the job of the programmer to partition the computation in different partition. So that is a overhead that you have to manage the distributed system. Then data partitioning. So both are two things, computation partitioning and data partitioning. Like computation partitioning means, suppose there are multiple operations, multiple computation operations, we partition them. And data partitioning means we partition the data. Like if we partition the large size array into the different sub array, that is data partitioning. We partition the complete array into different portion of data. And again, for each portion of array, if we are again partitioning some computation on for different CPU, then that is computation partitioning. So some certain applications requires only data partitioning, certain requires computation partitioning, certain requires a combination of both. That requires data partitioning, then further computation partitioning. So it is the job of programmer that is making distributed applications to partition the computation, to partition the data and manage it. Again, take back all the computed results and again combine them accordingly. Right? Synchronization, communication, scheduling. Obviously, when there are multiple portion of computation, multiple partition of data, and they are executing concurrently in parallel way, because all partitions are independent, you can perform them in parallel. So synchronize when there are multiple processes running, you have to synchronize them, you have to make communication among them, you have to schedule them. Right? Communication for what? Obviously, the computed result of partition array, sub array, you have to communicate them, because you have to represent the final result. You have to schedule all the processes, you have to synchronize them. Right? So again, all these are the responsibility of the programmer. Fault intolerance, this one, managing node failures in cluster. So suppose multiple partitions of data executing as a multiple processing unit, multiple processes, and they are running concurrently. And if some partitions or some processes has been failed, in that case your whole job, whole applications will be failed. You have to again re-execute the whole application. So that is fault intolerance. It doesn't tolerate the fault. What is fault tolerance means? Suppose if some portion has been stopped or has been re-executed or has been have some problems, then all the other portions should not be affected. That is the tolerance. Means you have to again re-execute only that portion and then come back the result. So, but if one subsystem has been failed, then whole system has been failed. That is called intolerance. It does not support fault tolerance. It is intolerant. Managing node failure in cluster. Okay. Also, it only works with low level language like C and Fortran. Like message passing interface doesn't support high level language like Java, Python, Scala, etc. So lack of high level parallel programming, because they only support with the C and Fortran and C++ languages. So these are some overheads and limitations that doesn't make it suitable for big data. Let's explore some more. Working with a large number of computing nodes in cluster or grid. I think you know about cluster or grid. If you don't know, let me explain it. When we talk about a distributed system, we can classify them in various categories. Depending on what is distributed system? A system that comprises of more than one computing devices, multi-computer system. So how multi-computer system are geographically distributed? How the multiple computers, how the multiple devices are geographically distributed. So if multiple computers, multiple CPU are in a single system at a central point, that is example of tightly coupled system. But if it is separated geographically, then it is the loosely coupled system. And in case of loosely coupled system, there is the variation. When they are highly distributed, means for example, different computing device, some computing device are in different campus of the university, different campus of the institution. So that is the case of grid computing. Your one server is at this university, another server is some other university, or in some other city, or in some other part of country. So that is grid computing. They are highly geographically distributed. So what is cluster? Cluster is a system that comprises of multiple computers working together. Right? So, and that feels that there is only single computer is working. There are in background multiple computers are connected. So they makes the more powerful system. So in case of distributed computing system, we requires distributed computing as well as more powerful system. So obviously when we use multiple computers, that can combine as a more powerful system. And that system working together, multiple computers form a cluster, make you appearance that only single computer is performing or executing your application, but internally they are executing in a distributed way, right? So this is the cluster or grid. So working with large number of computing nodes in cluster or grid, there is always a potential chance of node failures, which causes multiple re-execution of tasks. So let me clear that when I say a job, Job means the complete whole single application, right? And when that single job is splitted, is partitioned into the multiple subtasks, so that is called task. Multiple portion, one single portion is called task. So there is a single job, single application, and that is splitted into the multiple tasks. So working with large number of computing nodes in cluster or grid, there is always a potential chance of node failures which causes multiple re-execution of task. So obviously when there are multiple computers in cluster or grid, high chances that one or more system has been failed, one or more computing device has been failed. What will you do? So each computing device is executing some portion of application, some portion of job, that is called task. So each node is executing one or more task. So suppose system X has been failed, then all the tasks running on that system has been failed. Then what will you do with the complete job? So that is called fault intolerance. You have to re-execute the task, right? Now, huge bandwidth demand and a lot of processing power is spent on transporting data to node for computation. Huge bandwidth demand and lot of processing power is spent on transporting data to node for computation. As I said, you have a large size of array, then you have to partition it into the multiple sub-array, and now each portion of array have to be sent to different nodes. Portion 1 on node X, portion 2 node Y, node Z, right? So that requires huge bandwidth because we are transporting the data, and that also requires processing power when we transport the data. So that is the problem with typical distributed system, because when we have 10 GB of data, when we have 1 terabyte of data, and suppose you have 10 partition of it, you can imagine that how much time and processing power it will require to transport one portion of data to one particular node. So that is not feasible in case of big data. So this typical distributed system, this traditional distributed system is not suitable for big data because it partition and transport the data to different systems. Unable to handle huge volume of data, as we have already discussed, this typical distributed system is unable to handle huge volume of data because traditional storage systems do not have analytical power, and traditional data analysis tools and techniques are unable to handle huge volume of data. So either you can store the data, either you can analyze the data, and if you are able to store the data, huge data, big data, then you cannot process it, you cannot analyze it with the traditional data analysis tool. And if you are applying traditional data analysis tool and techniques, then you can only process certain amount of data. You cannot process or handle huge volume of data, that is big data. So what is the solution? So we have to use some different distributed tools and technique to analyze large scale data, right? Again we need distributed tools and technique, but not this existing distributed tools and technique. We need some different kind of distributed tools and techniques, and that is solved by Hadoop. A new distributed system Hadoop has been developed for processing large and excessive data in distributed and parallel fashion. So if you are processing data in a distributed fashion, it is obviously in parallel fashion. If we are processing in distributed way, obviously they are executing in parallel. But if you are executing something in parallel, it is not necessarily that they are executing in distributed way, right? So we will stop here for this part of video, and in next video we will start about Hadoop. Thank you.